Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our newest webinar. My name is Sarah Passero, and I'm here with AIS Media EVP Denise Malling, who will be presenting this exciting webinar titled The Key to Maximum ROI, Keyword Mapping. We love receiving your feedback, so we'll ask you to complete a quick survey at the end of our presentation. If you're on Twitter, you can join the conversation using the hashtag AISMediaEDU. Anyone who tweets us will get a special mention. Finally, we'll be wrapping up with a special offer for our webinar attendees. For those of you just becoming familiar with AIS Media, we're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, and specialize in performance-driven digital marketing for high-growth companies. If you're in the Atlanta area, you're always welcome to visit our office. We focus on providing digital marketing performance amplified. What that means is attracting, engaging, and ultimately converting. Our capabilities include digital marketing strategy, user experience design, lead generation and online sales programs, digital marketing including SEO, PPC, email, and conversion rate optimization. Our work has been recognized and garnered dozens of awards, including Best in Class Interactive Media Award for responsive web design. Our insights and methodologies, such as what we're about to share with you today, has been featured on the press and news, including CNBC, Forbes, The Today Show, and many others. We've worked with hundreds of clients, ranging from leading companies, top brands, to Fortune 500 corporations. We're also very grateful that many attend our webinars. And with that, here's your presenter, Denise Malling.
Everyone. So we're going to start with our channel roles. And this is really, if you've attended our other webinars, you'll have seen this before, so it'll be familiar. But just to cover it again, the darker part of the bar that comes across is what the weight is on conversion, whatever the conversion may be. So if it's a new patient, then that would be a conversion. If it's just the amount of time on the website, then that would be a conversion. So the website represents 68%. Next up is organic search, which is what we're talking about today. And then behind that is display and paid search, display advertising, and then email and social. We are seeing social continue to grow. So with that, let's look at what we're going to cover today. So how is a site mapped? So the first and most important aspect of any keyword or organic search program is to identify the keywords that are relevant, high volume, high value, commercial intent, etc., which we've covered prior. Today we're going to talk about performing a content audit, identifying the pages with high relevance and topical value, creating focused content to populate on those pages, and then how do you map a single keyword to a single URL? So let's move forward. Keyword mapping is a process where you map research keywords to specific landing pages. Some rules changed earlier this year that follow this keyword mapping part of your exercise for organic search, in that you are really only supposed to have one keyword for each page of your website with 500 words on that page. Now you can have a variance of a keyword, which is what we're going to show you today. So the 5 steps to keyword mapping are, number 1, we're going to define our goal. We're going to perform a content audit. We're going to identify those pages, create the focused content, and then map that single keyword. So the benefits. And this is, a lot of companies will fall short here. They won't have one keyword that their entire site is built around, but even more importantly, that each of these landing pages are built around. So when you do it and you do it correctly, you're automatically going to get higher rankings. You're going to increase the stickiness, the time on site, and provide users with what they're actually looking for. So you're going to, when you reduce the bounce rate, you get props, if you will, from Google. Okay, so key search behavior facts that we know. 89.82% of people click on links on the first page of search results. So you may be familiar with this slide. We've talked about it before. If that's the case, we have to find unique and interesting ways to climb the search engines to page 1. And in doing so, why do we want to be on page 1? Ultimately, we've got to focus on our goal. And so for our audience today, the goal really is new patients. So whether you're an aesthetic center or a surgery center or a dentist, it's always going to be about new patients. That's why we market. So as we move forward, we're going to talk about avoiding the friction and guiding them to easily navigate where they want to go. So once we've chosen our keywords, now we pick this up and we begin our content audit. The content audit is really, you want to look for the type of content you have, the volume of that content, and the relevancy. And this is kind of an interesting exercise. It may be daunting to think, oh my gosh, I have to inventory all of my content. But once you do it, you start to see really how much you have or how little you have. And then you can think about what you're going to tackle. So the screen that you're seeing now, on the left, those are persona icons. So the first one is for the person that's most focused on time and the bottom line. The last one is the person who is always looking for the newest, latest, greatest. So they're raising their hand. We call them the front row. These persona icons were developed for a particular client. And that client had all these types of content and or wanted to have this type of content. So across the top, you see the type of content. And then for each persona, you say, oh, okay, well, we do have content that addresses that. This is a pretty way of doing the content audit. This is the best way of really sharing it with your team, your executive team, or whomever you report to. But also, it's easier to digest when you share it with the team that's going to help you build that content. Because now you can say, okay, we're all set with video. And we're doing pretty well with articles, but let's focus on that as soon as we can, and let's build out just, 3 articles at least. And then you move down the list, and prioritizing that list is important as well. So this gives you an idea of how you can do a content audit, make it visual, make it seem easier to accomplish versus a long list of things you need to do. But this is a very important exercise. If you haven't done this and you have time before year end, I highly recommend you do it. If you're not sure how to do it, certainly companies like ours can help. So once you've done your content audit, you want to be sure to fill in those gaps. So think about what is most important, what do your patients typically seek? So part of this whole exercise in the content audit is you really should be looking at your Google Analytics to determine what are they already absorbing for pages, and do we have really strong content on those pages? And then let's put a dot, if you will, in that table to be sure that we're covered, and then move on to the next and the next and the next. When you break it down that way, it will make it easier. So again, be sure to fill in your content gaps. If you haven't done the inventory of the audit, do your best to get it done soon, because we are entering a new year and there's always bigger and greater expectations for each new year for us marketers. So let's talk about identifying the pages. So it's important to choose pages with high relevance and high topical value. Relevance is relevant to the search phrase. So if I type in bariatric surgery, I should land on a page that talks about bariatric surgery. I should know that I've landed on that page because it's obvious. So either the images or the H1, which is your heading, which is what Google reads, the very important part of search optimization, is telling me that's the right keyword, I'm in the right place, let me read on. So when choosing the pages, 2 things, high relevance and topical value, meaning I could immediately see this is what I came here for, I'm happy, I stick. Okay, now we get into sitemap and keyword association. So this is an example of a sitemap. The sitemap is really simple. At the top in that light gray bar, you can see that you have your main navigation. Those are your top tier points on your website, if you will, entry points. So, hold on. Can everyone see my screen? If you can't, please raise your hand or send a chat or a question. Thanks. So at the top, we have our main navigation, and then we have our drop down or what under that grouping. So if we look at treatment options, we have metal braces, clear ceramic braces, Invisalign, orthodontic appliances, different types of retainers, etc. And then, thank you, Courtney. And then you can see the keyword associations. So they're all kind of the same. So you want to stay within a group and you can stretch a little bit. You can have some variance, but it can't be a bunch of different keywords. So under the treatment options, we've got lots of keyword associations, but you can see they're very close to each other, and they're going to land on those identified 6 pages. So we probably have, 3 to 4 variations for each page here. Same thing with locations. Locations, it's all about one particular area, metro area, and location, so you can see that it stays very consistent to the area and to what the service is. So if I'm looking for the service in that location. And that's called geo-modifying. So if you focus on search engines, specific search engines, if you're local or regional, like let's suppose you're in Birmingham, you're in Tallahassee, and you're in Atlanta. Then you have 3 different search engines to focus on. If you don't focus on the local search engine, you have to geo-modify. So if you have something geo-modified, you do have to have a page that talks about that geo-modification. So you can't have Atlanta, Tallahassee, and Birmingham on one location page. You've got to have them, you've got to be able to land on the location that talks about that location. Hopefully that's making sense. If you have any questions, please send them to us. We're happy to answer. So this is a sitemap, keyword associations. Now we go on to having, so once we have our associated relevant topical keyword, then we go on to the next, which is developing content. So if we look at the patient journey and we think about the content that we have available to us, and you saw that nifty table, if you will, with the bullets that are filling in the blanks, and we have kind of a gap analysis. To get a little bit more sophisticated, we have our gap analysis, we know what we need to develop for content, we have our website, we know what pages we have, and we know what keywords we want to associate. Now we have to think about, so let's add just a whole other thing into this, now we have to think about, well, how do I absorb that content? If I'm looking at reviews, I'm probably much further along on the patient journey than if I'm typing in what is. Right? So if I type in what is, that means I'm at the very beginning of the learning stage. And it's probably not a keyword that you should be talking about unless you're a very large hospital system or, WebMD. So you want them further along the journey. So what does it take to move somebody that is interested and looking to get to become a patient? It's going to be different. It could be very short. Right? To go to a new dentist might only take, I'm going to look at a couple, see what their hours are, see what their reviews are, and I'm going to move on. To do something like bariatric surgery is going to take me a little bit longer. I'm going to need to see what is this all about? What are these testimonials? Are there any live events, lunch and learn? What can I do to figure out, is this the right place to be? So appropriate content at each stage is all about that journey. And when you do your audit, you do want to think about where you're going to place this. You don't have to have all of the content that's shown here. Let's face it, for urgent care, we have a client who maybe has this this journey that they see has maybe 5, 6 different types of content, and they only have 4 personas. So they require much less content because it's urgent care. Because what's going to be most important to me is going to be that I get somewhere and I get somewhere now, and that they're closed. So I'm not going to learn all about what is urgent care. I need to know what's going on. My finger's falling off, that kind of thing. Whereas with something like liposuction, or an elective procedure, they're going to want to see a lot more. So we do need to keep in mind the patient journey. 88% of those looking for health information start with the search engine. So it is all about search engines. We have to play this game. We probably, 1997 when we started this business, it wasn't the same. Today, the search engines dominate. So whether it's mobile search, it's push, it's actually going to Google and typing it in. So we're going to show you just how this works. So let's say we put in Invisalign cost. We're searching locally. We are not in the national engine for #1 position for Invisalign cost. That would be wonderful, but it really wouldn't work, would it? Because it's not very targeted. So this is the local search engine of Birmingham, and Birmingham Ortho Invisalign cost, Invisalign reviews is where we're sending that traffic. So cost associated with reviews, sure. Is it worth paying for? So 33% of traffic will click on the first. So 88 point change are going to only focus on first page results. The others will go to second page. But when they get first page results like this, there's no distraction, no maps, no reviews. There's the simple, straightforward search engine result page. 33% are going to click on the first one. So you understand why position 1 is so important, and doing all of this research and making sure that when you get there it's meaningful takes a little bit of work. Can be fairly complex. 75% of, actually 75%, I apologize, won't scroll past the first page. What they'll end up doing is they'll just type in a new search term. Okay, so when we look at the term, we've got first place patient placement. Now we're going to the appropriate page, and here we are. We've got 500 words, we've got good positioning, we've got, happy people smiling, we've got benefits, we've got everything we need now on this page, which is why we got the position 1. You ask yourself on focused content, is this what they want? Is there high relevancy and intent? So Invisalign cost, Birmingham orthodontics, or Birmingham location excellence. The cost means that I'm seriously looking now and considering. And they're landing on a page that has that topical relevancy or value, and then the relevancy. The keyword you can see is used 10 times. There's no keyword stuffing. It's not appropriate to do. You don't want to lose positioning. And then it's 500 plus words again. So we've met our criteria, hence the reason we got position 1. Avoid friction. Guide those potential patients to where they want to go. And even current patients go to your website to see things, and it's important that they can easily find what they're looking for too. And so that's why branded search terms along with a high relevant term can be really successful in converting current patients to choose other services if that's appropriate for your particular practice. So let's look at keyword mapping. So we love charts and graphs and tables, and really it's about organization. It's so important to be organized. So here's our preferred landing page. On the left, we have our keyword, then we have our rank. That's it. So the page that we showed you where we had our keywords that were going to go in the group, now we've taken it one step further and we've actually mapped it to the actual page. Now we're showing you the rank because we have some work to do on some of these pages. But it's very important that you see that there is a page that somebody's going to. We can run reports. Sometimes we'll run them for clients or potential clients, and we'll see that, oh my gosh, they're found on the search engine, pages 1 through 10. And the majority of the keywords are linking to their home page. That's a huge mistake. Anybody in this business that knows what they're doing would never do that. So this is an example of a keyword map. Obviously, we're going to post this so that you can follow along and do your best to do this for your organization as well. So preferred landing page, keyword, and then rank, and that's really what you measure. We have all these beautiful reports that show you where you end up. There's your example. So we always want to keep the goal in mind, the goal being that we're going to get new patients. So key takeaways. Be sure to fill in your content gaps. You're going to see this presentation so that you can see that table with the personas and then the bullets of what kind of content you may or may not have, what you want to develop. It'll give you a good list, too, to get started with. You want to write the relevant content. You want to know that it's along their journey, that you're not writing content just to write content, but that it is going to mean something in the end, because it takes a lot of time and energy and resources to write good content. So write relevant content. Make sure that every page has that associated relevant and topical keyword, and then map that content to one single URL. So today's session, we're wrapping a little bit quickly, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time. Somebody's asked, does the Invisalign cost need to be above the fold on the landing page? You know, that's a great question. Let's go back to that landing page, if you don't mind. So Invisalign and Invisalign Teen, it says at the top, it has benefits. I'm not so sure it has cost in the top. So if I was, it doesn't necessarily have to be above the fold, but I need to be able to skim it and know that I'm getting what I need. So I'm a skimmer, you might be a skimmer too. So I like headlines, subheadlines, and bullets. And then if I need more, then I'll read the paragraph. So hopefully that helps. And then someone's asking about, let's take you to the keyword mapping, why some of these, the actual locations page just has Birmingham orthodontist and orthodontist near me and orthodontics office, and it's all going to the same page. Is that only for the Birmingham location? And it actually is. That particular locations page talks all about Birmingham. I believe there's a map on that page as well. So even though it's not a long tail, yes, you can go there. And also the home page, yes, you can talk about your company name oftentimes on the home page, unless you have some other paragraphs or case studies or something that has, you know, an amount of content that is actually worth its weight, if you will, on the home page. So in wrapping up, if you'd like a website performance analysis, we're happy to do this for you. And this shows site speed, mobile friendly. Big changes occurred in April, late April, early May. May have impacted your site. This might still be a good time to check it out before year end. We'll do a technical SEO audit. We're happy to give you a 30-minute consultation. The other thing about this is if you really want to look at search optimization and where you are with content, call us, schedule a meeting. We're happy to show you even more. So either way, the website performance analysis, or get in touch with us. We're happy to show you where you stand today so you can move forward with that content audit and then actually begin building so you have an even more successful 2016. So everyone, thank you so much for your time. That's a wrap for today.